Okay, everyone, this is recorded after some of this video has been recorded. It was recorded in different parts. Um, I was sick, unfortunately, for the past week, so that's why the video has been delayed. Don't worry, we're gonna go back to the once a week, shooting for every Wednesday, on a release. But that is just wanted a little quick update on why the Cad Bane video hasn't been delayed for so long. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Surge to Hit. Today is another unit breakdown on the man that, well, needs no introduction, and that is the titular Cad Bane. So, without further ado, let's just get into his unit card. So, Cad Bane has become a mercenary. He's an operative, as always, and he's only one. So there's only one Cad Bane you're getting. He's 105 points, so he's gotten a 15-point reduction overall, which is pretty good. He has Jump 1, Bounty, Danger Sense 3, new keyword, this is a good one, Independent Dodge 2. So at the start of the activation phase, if he does not have an order token, gain 2 dodge tokens. This is huge. This really adds to his survivability, since one of Cad Bane's main problems is just getting wiped off the board early. Also, his Danger Sense got bumped up, which I did not mention, but his Danger Sense went from Danger Sense 2 to Danger Sense 3, which just adds to his overall survivability. Next is Sharpshooter 1 and Steady. Most of his keywords, very, very good. Danger Sense was updated to be Danger Sense 3, which is very good, and he's got Independent Dodge 2, which is amazing. Next, let's go over onto the right side of the card. He is a trooper unit, as he always has been. He has 6 health and 3 courage, but he only has white defense dice. But on the other hand, going to his surge chart, he does surge to defense, so he's got a bit more protection than Bosk does, but certainly a lot less than Boba would. Also, another thing that got updated was originally he had just surge to hit, but he's now been updated to be lined up with the rest of the bounty hunters, and he is surge to crit, which is amazing, and I'm honestly shocked that it wasn't like that the first time around, but at least it is now. Next up, his speed. He's speed 2, so that stayed the same. And then onto his built-in attack pools. For his melee, he has 3 black dice, which would be 3 black dice surge to crit. That's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. Martial arts. It's not bad. And then his ranged weapon is this dual LL30 blaster pistols. It's range 1 to 2. It's 4 black dice and pierce 1. So on average, you'll get two and some change for your hits. Black dice are usually 50-50, but the crit, surge to crit, adds to it. So you'll get roughly 2 hits per shot, which isn't bad. But it's worth keeping in mind that if you shoot into someone that's heavy cover, you shoot your 4 black dice, assuming it is that 50-50 split. The heavy goes to light. You're going to get 2 hits. 1 goes to cover, and you just pierce 1, so you only take off 1 model. And if that's a B1 battle droid unit, that would take 8 rounds to kill, or 8 shots to kill, which is a bit more than the rounds we have in a standard game. So you have to really maneuver Cad Bane get behind people's cover, and then blast off with his dice. Overall, looking at his new unit card, a lot of really great changes. Danger Sense update, the Independent Dodge 2, amazing, and Surge to Crit, beautiful. Overall, the changes on his unit card are very good. But it is also important to note which factions he can join. He can stay in the Separatist if you like, or, and really, this is pretty cool, he can also join the Empire, which is nice because, well, that's A, thematic, and B, just another bounty hunter for the Empire. Who doesn't mind that? That's for sure. It's very interesting to see how he'll pan out. But without further ado, we're going to get into the upgrades, what he has available, and then whether they're good, bad, or situational, depending on how you want to build them. Okay, let's get into the upgrades for Cad Bane. So he has 2 training slots, 1 comm slot, a gear slot, an armament slot, and a grenade slot. So let's get into the training slots first, of course. Okay, so for training, the first training option we see is duck and cover. This is good because it works together with his danger sense. He also has courage 3. So when it comes to a normal weapon shooting you, it adds 1 suppression plus the 1 from duck and cover. You're not going to be suppressed instantly. But duck and cover works good with danger sense, so that helps to his overall survivability. So that's good. Endurance, I would say the training slot is very competitive. So endurance is probably not the best choice. I'm going to say it's bad. Next is Hunter. Hunter's pretty good. I mean, usually if you bounty someone, usually you want to be gunslinging for them. And if you injure them, you can get a free aim. Especially when it comes in onto his 1 pip, you can potentially get 2 free aims. And with 4 black dice, you're going to want some aims to help you out on that. So I would say Hunter is good. Next is Into the Fray. It's bad. You can't use the surge tokens. You can't give them to anybody by doing it. And you can't utilize the surge tokens. So I'd say it's bad. Offensive Push. For a one-time use of your aim, it's not really great, especially since he has steady, so he could aim, move, and then shoot instead of having to move to get that aim. I would say Offensive Push is bad. Next is Overwatch. Overwatch, it's bad. It increases your standby range to 1 to 3, but the furthest you can ever shoot on Cad Bane is 1 to 2. So I'd say Overwatch is bad. Okay, next is Protector. He doesn't have Guardian, so it's super easy to say this one is bad. Seize the Initiative is interesting. I would say that because of the new independent keywords, Cad Bane doesn't really want orders, especially if he's working with the CIS. I'd say Seize the Initiative, honestly, in this sense, I wouldn't say it's good. It's definitely not bad. It is situational. Next, speaking of situational, is Situational Awareness. This is good. This is a top tier upgrade for Cad Bane. Very good. Next is Tenacity. So Tenacity is interesting because he shouldn't be a melee character, but is he good at melee? Extremely. His melee can be 3 black and 1 red with Tenacity activated, which is insane. That's really good. But even more insane is that if you combo that with his Electro Gauntlets, he could be shooting out 5 red in a melee. That's insane. But you do not want him to be in melee. You don't want him to get stuck in melee because he's got to kill whoever he's in melee with, unless he's got that Electro Gauntlet activated and that enemy has an immobilized token. Then he can move out of it, sure, but still, I would say Tenacity, even though it's like really cool to think about a 5 red dice melee attack on Cad Bane, it's not worth it. So Tenacity, I would say, is bad. And finally, the newest upgrade, Up Close and Personal. Very, very good on Cad Bane, especially comboed with Situational Awareness. Generating those dodges, keeping your survivability high is really good. Especially, and here's a combo you guys probably may have been thinking of already, but I'll share it. Up Close and Personal, if you combo with Comms Relay on Cad Bane, which we will get into later, you can, on his 1 pip, he receives his order, and then he pawns it off to droids, or pawns it off to somebody else. Then when he does get to go and activate, he has his 2 dodge tokens from Independent Dodge 2, and then he shoots with his first action, shoots with his second action, and now he has 4 dodge tokens. And then if you, for his gear slot, put in prepared supplies, you could have 5 dodge tokens on this turn. And then if you're absolutely crazy, instead of shooting twice, you could just shoot once and take the dodge action. So you could have 6 dodges on Cad Bane, potentially, with up close and personal added to your training slots. And with situational awareness, 6 crits coming to you, yeah, that's cool, because they're all gone. So that's just a cool combo I wanted to share with you really quick. So, but up close and personal is really, really good on Cad Bane. Next, we're going to be getting into the comms slot. So, comms jammer, I would say it's good. It's comms jammer. You prevent people from getting orders around you, which if you have independent and they don't, and you prevent their orders from getting to you, you start out with the advantage of just getting those tokens already and not having your order. That's good. Comms relay is good, I would say. Very, very good. You could potentially, on Cad Bane's 2-pip, you could just make that push with a bunch of extra really cool abilities. And you could still gain your independent dodge too, which Bane really wants to add to his survivability. This new update, these new keywords are all about his survivability with dodge 2 and danger sense 3. So comms relay, pawning off your order, letting you get those dodges is great. It's absolutely great. Next is emergency transponder. This is the new comms upgrade we've gotten. I would say for Cad Bane, just because who he has to deal with because I would say his comm slot is actually pretty competitive, funny enough, I would say emergency transponder is kind of bumped down to the situational tier. It's not great, but it's not bad, unlike the other ones. Hacked comms unit, for example, is a bad upgrade. You don't want to be giving orders to Cad Bane unless it's absolutely dire. So when it could be a nice fallback with the hacked comms unit, why would you... It doesn't seem like a steady idea to have to rely on being within range 1 of an enemy. And next is HQ uplink. Why drop 10 points on HQ uplink when you could just not, and when you could just play as 1-pip or do a lot of other things? And by using HQ uplink, first of all, it's exhaustible, so you only get it 1 time. Second of all, by using it, you don't get your dodges. So I would say it's bad. I mean, and like I said before, I really love the comm slot. I think it adds a lot of variety to the game. Any upgrade can be used to a unique effect. Go for it. Just because I say it's bad doesn't mean it's actually oh, bad, don't ever use it. It just means that, my opinion, I think it's bad. And for HQ uplink, and then also for our friend long range comlink, I would say that it is unfortunately bad. And that is the end of the comms. Okay, going on to the gear. Ascension cables. Situational, if you really want him to be mobile, because he already has jump 1, you don't really need ascension cables. But if you want him to stay mobile and being able to hop over buildings especially, ascension cables can be useful. I wouldn't say it's the best though. So ascension cables, I would say, is situational. Next is electro binoculars. They're bad. Why would you hand out other aims? You want to keep your actions to yourself. Remember, bounty hunters are hoarding the actions for themselves. Emergency stims, though. This is good. Adds to your survivability. This is what Cad Bane is about. Next is environmental gear. Environmental gear and grappling hooks fall into the same thing. They're both bad because ascension cables is just better. And yes, ascension cables is exhaustible, but in a single game, there's not many times that you're gonna need for multiple turns in a row. The jump ignores difficult terrain already, and so could ascension cables. There's not many times you're gonna need to be able to do both of those, to move through difficult terrain for 2 full moves for 2 turns in a row. It's not very often that happens. So in that sense, they're kind of... That's why ascension cables is situational, but environmental gear and grappling hooks are just ascension cables, but way worse, because they leave out the other one. So for both of those, I would say they are bad: environmental gear and grappling hooks. Next up, portable scanner. This one's bad. You don't want to be giving away, same thing as electro binoculars, you don't want to be giving away your actions to other people. Prepared supply. Wow, totally flubbed those words. Prepared supplies. One of my favorite upgrades to come out of this new wave is, it's good. It's not great good. It's okay good. I wouldn't say it's situational, because I feel like for your gear slot, emergency stems is like up there. It's like one of your number one things. If you can't afford it, prepared supplies is a good second. I think that's how I'd rank it. Next is recon intel. I would say it's bad just because of his 3-pip. If you really want to move forward in the map, just play his 3-pip and move him that 1 speed 1 distance forward if you really desire it. I would say it's overall bad, recon intel. And then targeting scopes. Black Dice, on average, minus the surge, it's like a 5 out of 8 chance, or with the surge, it's a 5 out of 8 chance to hit. That means roughly, if you roll 4 black dice, you're getting 2 hits. So your aim, you're not going to be rolling 3 dice on average, you're going to be re-rolling the 2 dice. So targeting scopes, adding precise 1 isn't really the best option. So I would say targeting scopes is also bad. Next up is probably one of the most competitive slots you've ever seen on a character, and it is the armament slot for Cad Bane. Your choices are electro gauntlets or nothing. I'm just messing with you guys. Electro gauntlets, if you can fit them in Cad Bane, like if you have the points, I should say, it is good. You should use it, because it is that nice little free get out of jail free card that you can use on any melee units. That is like, okay, cool, you have an immobilized token, here you go, from the wound on the electro gauntlets. Or just by having this card on Cad Bane with his 2-pip, if you just give that unit an immobilized token at the beginning of Cad Bane's activation, he can just move away from them instantly and not have to worry about it. Now, this is assuming there's only 1 unit, I believe. Yeah, reading the card, I think it's only 1 unit, but it might be as many units as there are there. If they all have immobilized, then maybe you're good. I'm not sure if that's been added in any rules reference updates, but electro gauntlets, very, very good upgrade. If you can fit it, I'd use it. This next slot, grenades, while it is very, very thematic to have on Cad Bane, which is very cool, I love seeing thematic upgrades on units, unfortunately, their grenades are all very bad, except for one, which is, it's good, it's nice to have, I guess, but at the end of the day, you could live without it. And so we'll go through this quick. Concussion grenades, EMP grenades, frags, impacts, and the sonic imploders are all 5 of those are bad. Don't use them. You should just use your dual LL30 blaster pistols instead in every situation. I mean, even look at fragment grenades. You already have surge to crit. You're trading 4 black dice for 1 red die. Why would you do that? The only one of those 5 that, like, and you'd have to really, like, you'd have to sit me down for a very long time in order to convince me that I would even have a chance of being even situational, is maybe EMP droid poppers. It is still bad, don't get me wrong, because you're trading 4 black, pierce 1, at range 1 to 2 for a range 1 single black die that might ion the unit. You could theoretically, in theory, Cad Bane could, on his 1-pip, throw a droid popper, ion a unit, and throw that droid popper at the same unit, negating their activation entirely. But the chance of that happening is pretty low, because, first of all, you need to hit them, deal the damage, hit them, and then deal the damage again. That is way too much chance involved for that strategy to really be sound. So that is why that's bad. But just all of the rest are just they're just really bad. I want to use them, except for 1. smoke grenades, you get light cover, which can be really useful in conjunction with your suppression tokens giving you heavy cover, which is really nice. And it just adds to your survivability, which is nice. The only thing that is potentially a downside, and you want to be careful of this, is that you want to, if it's a quick action now, you want to throw it at the end of your activation, not the beginning. Specifically because you move, you shoot, and then you throw the grenade, so then you have light cover, but your enemy doesn't benefit from it. Because you do have sharpshooter 1, so if they're out in the open, it doesn't really matter when you throw it. Really, it goes off. But you can just shoot right through it. You don't care about the smokes. But if they have light cover, you just made their light cover into heavy cover, and your sharpshooter will only make it reduced it down to light cover. So you just want to be careful on the order of operations you do when using smoke grenades. You always want to shoot your target and then use smoke grenades, so you maintain your enemy has the least amount of cover possible during your turn, and then at the end of your turn onto your opponent's turn, you have the most amount of cover possible. So smoke grenades is definitely good. It's definitely the best. Don't use any of the other grenades, please. Please don't use those other grenades. They are not worth your time. And like I said, this is my opinion, but like, this is a fact. And if you want to argue that, throw it in the comments, please. But without further ado, let's move on. So we have covered all of the different upgrade slots for Cad Bane, whether it's the training, the comms, the gear, the armament, or the grenade slot. We've also covered his unit card in its entirety. One thing left to do in this video. Let's go over some potential builds with Cad Bane that can be really interesting to throw on the table in their own unique ways. So it's really quick to point out there's going to be some similarities between both of the builds because I do fill out all the slots available. Mind you, you might not be able to fill all the slots when you actually come to build it, but I do fill out all the slots, and the only armament is the electro gauntlets, and the only good grenades, smoke grenades. So those are going to be the same between both builds. But onto the first build. This is more of like a hero hunter build. You have duck and cover to increase your survivability, especially when it comes to any melee threats. You have hunter to give you those free aims, especially when going against obviously high wound heroes. Those free aims are going to be really, really nice. The reason I use comms jammer on this build is to deny other heroes or other units helping your heroes, or your bountied hero. The reason is, if you have Luke within comms jammer range, and let's say Sabine's just out, if he wants to give an order on to Luke, he's got to either have seize the initiative, and if he doesn't have that, he's got to burn a Luke command card. Maybe he doesn't want to do that right now, but that could help you draw out command cards that they don't want to use just yet, for example. Next is prepared supplies. This just adds to the survivability. This could be interchanged with emergency stims, but remember, prepared supplies is like the cheaper little brother of the emergency stims when it comes to that survivability. However, prepared supply doesn't really have a negative to it. It's 5 points. You cancel a damage. Pretty cool. And then the electro gauntlets, also anti-melee threat, and smoke grenades to cover your trails when you do finally leave the fight. This next build really leans into the dodge spam of this list. You have, for the training slots, up close and personal, and situational awareness. You're canceling crits and you're gaining dodges every time you shoot somebody with your ranged weapons. Very good, very valuable. Next, you have comms relay. So you're going to want to partner Cad Bane with anyone else that's going to be advanced high up in the field. This can be commando droids, magna guards even, or even potential transports like the snail tank or anything like that. And then for the Empire, if you really feel brave, you could put Cad in the lap and drop him off next to his a really weak bounty like a T-Series tactical droid, or any of the generic commanders for any of the factions really, except for maybe clones, because that clone commander sticks with his brothers. But comms relay, pass the order off to someone else, gain your 2 free dodges. Plus, with situational awareness, that's 2 crits gone already. And then move on. Now remember, gear interchangeable. For this build, I would say prepared supplies is maybe a little bit better, but overall with survivability, emergency stims is the way to go, because you can just cancel 2. You can just cancel 2 hits. You're like, okay, I'll take, instead of taking these now, I'm gonna take these bad boys later, which is really, really convenient most of the time. And next, electro gauntlets, anti-melee threat, and then smoke grenades to cover your tracks or to make sure and add to your survivability. Both of those were the same as the last entry, or the last build. And then this build, it can also double as maybe like an anti-infantry build, because you're super survivable, but you can still shoot to probably take off 2 to 3 models off of like white save units every turn, and then probably more reliably 2 models off a red save unit every turn. Which is, it's nice. You could probably end up taking out a unit. You could probably end up taking out one or like 2 to 3 units potentially with Cad Bane when the game's all said and done. But those were the 2 builds I had for the man that needs no introduction, the one and only Cad Bane. Overall, I'm very excited to field this new unit. He is very fun. He was very fun beforehand, in my opinion. I always thought he was underrated, but now he is really ready to shine, and I can't wait to see how far this new and improved, this new and cheaper and better and improved, this really great bounty hunter, can't wait to see how far he goes, given the fact he was the most changed bounty hunter of the 3. But all great things must come to an end, and thus this video shall be ending soon. So, if you did enjoy the video, drop a like, comment your thoughts in the video. What upgrades did you think that I thought were bad or situational that you think are actually potentially really good on Cad Bane? What are your potential list ideas? Like, and who do you think, which faction do you think Cad Bane's going to be better in? Is it going to be his home, the CIS, or is it going to be the new guys, the Empire, that he's going to really shine? And finally, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date on all of our content. Next week is going to be a little preview for you guys. It's going to be my own version of the Wizard Lizard list that I am going to be bringing to a local tournament soon. So get you guys excited for that. So, and if you are excited for it, subscribe, ring the bell. And without further ado, I hope you all have a absolutely fantastic day. Peace.